Ladies and gentlemen from the 1910 Church Studios, it's Hill Talk. Oh my gosh, Hill Talks.
Hill Talks.
Hill Talks convo is worth having. We are excited. Today's going to be a great day.
Worth hearing.
You say that every week.
Oh, really? I've
Yes.
messed it up every time?
You said it last week.
Conversations worth hearing.
Yeah. Let me
Okay.
just take it from
We're
here
having this
for you.
conversation.
Let me just take it
Thank
from
you.
here
It's
for
too early for me. I'm not finished with my coffee yet.
Before we get into the nitty-gritty, we're going to thank our sponsors this week. This week's sponsor is H2O.
Good old H2O.
Hydrogen dioxide.
Nope, that's not what that stands
Hydrogen, yeah, 2O.
Too fast, too furious.
Actually, if you didn't know this, water has a slogan. It's hydrate or dihydrate. That's the actual slogan for
We've
water.
used that for camp.
We have.
Wow, water's really edgy.
Big shout out to Water this week. Thanks for being our sponsor.
Thank you.
Thank you for filling us.
It's everywhere.
Who do we have here, Pastor Isai?
We actually have a Dove Award nominated songwriter, worship leader.
Like the chocolates?
0.8 KD.
Dove chocolate.
Dove chocolates?
Dove chocolates, yes. I said Dove Awards. Brian McCleary, friend of the show. McCleary. I said it like Brian McCleary. It's McCleary. Dude, welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, good to be here.
We have been trying to get you for 2 weeks, and you have
Canceled.
very wisely canceled and avoided
Rejected.
us. And we
He
finally
thought the
locked
show would be canceled before he came.
We actually tricked him to come today. We said, hey, we're going to have a prayer session. And so he showed up, and then we're like, well, the
All
cameras
about
are
it.
here. So
All about it.
now you're here.
Awesome.
This is very much like prayer.
Very
It
much.
is very much.
Very much. This is great.
Conversation.
Worth hearing.
Worth hearing and having.
And having.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's start our first segment of the day. It is Pop Pop.
Pop, pop,
Let's just play that one more time because I like the way that sounds.
pop, pop.
Today, Tim,
got
you
a
want
good
to
sound.
tell us
I
what
would love
our
to. So
first
last
Pop Pop
week
segment
actually-
is?
Last week, actually, in our Dab and Fab, we discussed Zac Efron and how objectively attractive he is as a human being, which
Hear,
we can
hear.
all agree on.
Brian, what do you think?
You know, I heard that they said he has a dad bod.
That's not. If he's got a
I'm-
dad
I'm
bod, I've got a
really-
great
I'm
granddad bod.
really
That's
insecure
frustrating
Well,
for
we
someone
know.
like me.
We've known that.
I'm really insecure.
So just Zac Efron, great guy. And we talked about his show, and actually, this week's Pop Pop is his show that was on Netflix. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's just climbing,
Yeah.
and it's just a great show all around. And one of the
Have you seen it, Chase? I know you had
I
seen it
have.
last time.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. We've
What do you-
seen
what do you
4 or
think?
5. It's great.
It's a good
It's
show,
so
right?
good.
Yeah.
It makes
Yeah.
you aware of the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
It's a
Of the
good
place you
steward.
live in.
And
Renewable
so
energy.
One of the episodes actually intros kind of talking about water.
Yeah.
And it's fitting that that's our sponsor this week.
Right.
And on
Didn't
that
plan that.
episode,
Coincidentally.
yeah, didn't plan that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On that episode, they had a water sommelier. A water sommelier.
A what?
A sommelier.
I thought it was sommelier.
Sommelier.
Not a sommelier. A water sommelier.
Okay.
Sommelier.
So what is it?
And that's basically a drink expert that's typically involved in like higher priced wines. But this is the world's
waters.
first, or America's
A
first
water.
ever water sommelier.
Yeah.
And we actually have one on staff here at 1910.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know if you were aware of that, but
What?
Pastor Jason Brown actually he wears a lot of different hats.
Are you
on our
serious right
church.
now?
Yeah,
Wow.
and he's actually a water sommelier. So we
Welcome.
got some waters, and we wanted to bring the
Wow.
expert in. So we'll share this mic here. Thanks for being here.
Well, it's an honor to be with you guys, to be able to have a platform to talk about water. I
Yeah.
love water. Love it's so important. I love water so much. Can't get enough.
Can't get enough.
Where
Yeah.
do you get your water from normally?
Well, you know, that's a tricky question.
Right.
Because there are so many different types of water.
Correct.
We have the purified, we
Yeah.
have the tap, the purified, we have mineral and spring. And I know that that's the big question is what's best for you, right? In my studies and research and you know, for the last, 24 hours that I've discovered that, when we talk about purified
Yeah.
water, we're basically just talking about tap water
Right.
that they have run through a few systems.
Put a little fluoride in it.
To kind of dissolve. In fact, the dissolve the solids, the TDS, total dissolved solids.
TDS. Okay. I didn't even know that was
And
an acronym.
so, it's just it's really up to you. And I've brought some different types of waters today for us to sample so that you guys can kind of see there is a difference. Now I know water looks the same,
Okay. It does.
Yeah.
It's all clear.
It's all clear. Yeah.
but it's all water.
Wow.
Excuse me.
I think you need some water.
You need some.
I'm
Yeah.
dehydrated right now. Let's
Yeah.
get to. Yeah, this is Voss. Of course, this is
Voss. Am I
probably
pronouncing that right?
Many of you are
Voss?
familiar with Voss, and this is from Norway. The TDS of this is 40. This is pretty much a safe water. We'll just start you guys here with some of this. I'll come around and pour
Fun
it.
fact, the first time I
Let you
got Voss
kinda,
water, I liked
take
the
it in
packaging so much, I
and
just
smell
put
that and,
water in it and just carried it around all the time so people would
So
think I was
let's
rich.
let's try to pick up the different tasting notes
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the water.
We'll do.
Maybe a
You
little.
know what's interesting about water?
What's
The same water that was around when Jesus walked the earth is what we're drinking right now.
Still
and
here.
I learned this in science
Yeah.
class. dinosaurs peed this water
What?
because of the water cycle.
You know,
That makes
I
sense.
thought about that.
I might have.
All right, here's to yeah.
Cheers.
Just let it sit.
So we.
How's that?
It's a good mouthfeel on that one.
Yeah. It's very soft,
Yeah.
very liquidy.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably something you're accustomed to. It's not a high magnesium count
Yeah.
or mineral count, and that's just a
is very
pretty
liquidy.
safe water.
Tastes like water.
Goes down very smooth.
Yeah.
Now, what you'll notice is there are different types of water. In fact, we have one here, I think, from Canada, right here in the.
I love the Canadians.
So,
Water, eh?
We crossed the border for this one here, and what you'll notice is that
What you got there?
it still looks like water, of course, but you'll notice just a little bit of different from the mineral.
Yeah.
Do we know price ranges for like these waters typically? Is there like a price
Yeah,
difference?
we don't try to talk about money on the show.
Okay, that's fair.
Looks like Canadians drink more water than.
This has to be expensive. It's glass.
Right.
You
So-
get what you pay for, right?
That's exactly.
But there is a misnomer, Isai, that purified water oftentimes is more costly, but it's probably not as beneficial for you.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, don't drink it yet.
Wow.
Interesting.
I almost took a little sip of that.
Did you have any notes, Tim, in the last water that
I
you drank in the
did,
bottle? What were the
yes.
notes you were picking up?
Real liquidy. Okay. Very liquidy. Yeah, that's the note.
Tastes pretty normal.
This is
It's a
Canadian,
normal-
right?
Yeah.
This is
So go ahead and kind of just
This is
Canadian water.
sip on
glacier
that, compare it
Canadian
to
water.
the Voss a little bit. You may notice a different.
Oh wow, I actually do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
This one opens up a little bit nicer, I think.
it's got a floral.
Yeah, a little floral note.
yes, there's floral notes. Is that grass?
It's an oaky afterbirth.
A few more minerals in that, and
Charred oak.
actually, you would want to. I would think drink a water that has minerals.
That's my favorite so far.
Yeah.
That one's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
I feel like
So between that one and the other one, that one,
Do you think that hose water has minerals?
I think so. I will say, when I was a kid, I would drink water from the hose when I was playing outside in the trampoline, and it just
and that is probably good
something
for
else. Great.
developing your antibodies. If you drink
Absolutely.
a hose,
Yeah.
you're
Absolutely, yeah.
probably immune from several
Yeah.
common
Viruses.
ailments.
Which is a great segue
COVID.
into COVID.
Yeah.
Let's pass the water.
All right, next one. Let's see what this is. Where is this one from? What is this?
What do we?
This is called ViWi.
Viwai.
Viwai.
Oh, I
Oh, it's like
it's
the
from
it's like the
Russia.
opposite of Wi-Fi.
Viwai?
ViWi.
This is
Did we get a bottle opener mix?
I noticed when you opened it, Brian, you
I
didn't let
noticed
it.
Brian
you didn't let it
really
breathe.
pour it well.
Well, you didn't let it breathe, man. You gotta here sniff it.
You can really
Okay.
tell the difference between
Oh
him
wow.
and a water sommelier.
It's a little bluer.
Oh, it is a little bluer.
Well, that could be the light.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's see.
Thank you.
I'm picking up.
Did you sip? Wow. Okay.
No, I'm just smelling it. Here we go. Let's see what
Wow.
we got.
There is definitely a different taste profile.
There's an aftertaste.
Yeah.
Not a fan of this one.
A
Not
little
no
plasticky aftertaste.
Yeah.
A little plasticky.
plastic.
Mm-hmm.
This one probably just came from the top shelf of your local supermarket, so
Yeah.
probably not as
It's a
elaborate as the
Fiji.
previous.
It's a Fiji
So,
water. You see at the
It's
bottom.
a type of Fiji
Type-
water.
type of
yeah.
Fiji water.
Fiji.
Yeah.
so anyway, it's really up to you, whatever you prefer.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Not
The
loving
second
this
one is still the winner. Go ahead and open up that one, Brian.
Yeah, we're getting into
This
the next
one here, the
Yeah. We're
Do
gonna
we
see
want
Brian's
Brian to
muscles
open
right.
it up?
I don't
I think
really
so.
know if I want to pronounce.
We don't want
that.
Brian to open
I'm
it up.
Okay.
No
Anna.
offense, Brian. It's just the way you opened the last one that was a little.
That one probably needs. One
I'm
of
feeling
these,
a
yeah.
lot of hostility towards Brian right now. He's my
that's
guest.
our relationship.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a
meeting
very,
you today.
very complicated
Oh,
relationship.
look at the
Tim and I.
bottle.
this, look at
the
this.
bottle. Look at the bottle.
Look at that.
Ooh.
This looks expensive.
Yeah, this is
It must be.
probably the higher end
The higher end water.
we have today.
Well, I definitely need it in my car now just to walk around with it.
Wow. Thank you so much. Yeah, let that puppy breathe.
All right. All right. Here we go.
Chase, you go first, and then you tell us what you think, and then we'll kind of come in after you.
What are you picking up? What's that tongue picking up?
It's pretty tasteless. The
Cool.
other one had plastic. This one does not, obviously.
Oh, this is the freshest of all of them. It's definitely got a more. It cascades in your mouth.
It's very enjoyable.
Yeah, I like it.
I'll try that.
Let me try. I'm gonna do a. It's good stuff.
That's good water.
It's good stuff.
I like that.
Good. That
Now
tastes,
this one-
tastes
thi-
Italian.
This-
The
this
Vawa
last
is
one
definitely the
here may
worst.
Have a little bit more of a kick because it is a sparkling water, and so a little bit more carbonation. In fact, notice.
Oh,
I see.
Wow.
Did you notice that action?
Your
in the
water
bottle?
comes with a magic trick. Yeah.
Entering the show.
So, so this. Whoa.
Oh,
Well,
as I
That's
said,
it for
lots
Pop.
Lots of action there. And so
That water is
you can
excited
see
to
it's-
get drink.
Of all the people to do that, I'm glad Pastor Jason did it.
absolutely.
That water looks like it's
So
excited to
that's
be
okay.
water.
Well, the youth ministry has a big budget. And they'll purchase
Some new microphones.
Wow.
Thank you.
You have to be careful when you have sparkling water. This is crazy.
All right.
Well, and I will say thank you, Pastor Jason, for bringing that to the attention. I think water is not something to be played with. Be careful when you open up sparkling water because
Yeah.
what just happened can happen in your home.
Put an eye out with it.
You could.
Yeah.
All right.
Cheers.
Are
It's
we
like
going?
Mentos challenge.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
This is
Little
the
action
stuff.
there.
Yeah.
This is the stuff.
There it is.
Little action.
Man.
I usually don't like sparkling water.
Sparkling water.
Sparkling water. But this is actually really good.
What's the TDS in this one?
Yes, well, this is, of course, the sparkling and minerals are lower, a higher
Higher.
TDS because they contain more minerals.
Right.
Yeah.
Natural things. Spring waters, mineral waters, natural.
Yeah.
Natural things. You want that.
You want the
right?
natural.
You want
Why
natural.
eat food without any vitamin, as they say in Indonesia?
No, vitamin's right.
Vitamin,
Yeah.
benefits, right?
Yeah, yeah.
If I had to describe this, it would be
Ooh,
like
wow.
New Year's Eve in my mouth. It's just little
It's kind of
little
a party in the
fireworks.
mouth,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
It
it's
is.
little fireworks.
It's very,
So,
very,
anyway,
very
so
sparkly.
The biggest thing is hydration, And if you're not careful, you can actually probably drink a little too much water and
And drown. That's what happens when
drown.
you drown. When you drink
but
too much
it's very
water.
healthy, very good for you. So
Well, thank you.
Awesome.
The best
educated.
pastor
Thank
sommelier
you.
there is.
That's
Thank
nice.
you, Pastor
Thank you.
Jason,
Yeah.
for
Thank you.
Yeah.
coming on the show
Appreciate
and
that.
teaching us a little bit.
thank you guys so much.
I would say the best water is well water, personally.
Of
Yeah.
living
Sulfur?
water.
I grew up
Living
on
water.
that.
living water.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
Real
yeah,
quick,
yeah.
That's interesting because we did
Didn't plan that at all.
write a song about
Come and
living
see.
water, right?
Yes,
John
sir.
chapter 4. And so we would encourage you guys to check out the Come and See little plug right here
Yeah.
Yeah.
of our
It's a great album.
1910 worship team creative department came up with this album.
Thank
The
you.
Well, Come and See.
Great songs.
Great song.
Thank you, Pastor
Love the
Jason.
well.
Here's to you.
Pastor
guys.
Jason.
Here's to you.
Is this what we're doing?
All right. All
We
right.
don't clap here. We're too fancy.
Okay. Well, that was eventful, and I feel educated.
I feel hydrated.
Well,
hydrated.
that was for today's Pop. That was our segment.
There
Pop
it is.
culture and
Pop.
What do
popular
we have
news.
coming up next?
The best.
Next, we have Sport Court.
Court is in session. Court is in session.
Court is in session. We know on this segment we talk about all the hottest, latest sports news for all the athletes up here.
Yeah.
So a few things that are happening. Well, this is coming out Monday. So this past weekend, MLB started their opening season, 60 games. So we'll see how that goes.
MLB is short for
That would
Major
be
League Batting.
baseball.
Oh.
Major League Baseball.
Okay.
Yeah. So a few things, and we'll talk about the NBA here in a second, but MLB is actually playing their home games
Okay.
at home at their own stadiums, no fans, but they're having to travel all around the U.S. Toronto Blue Jays, the only team in Canada, actually got denied
Wow.
3 days ago. They can't even go back to Canada. They have to stay in the U.S. and play
Wow.
their home games in
Wow.
a different
But
stadium.
would you
What?
want to go back to Canada? Toronto?
Yeah.
I mean, with this
Oh,
kind
no,
of
no,
water,
not-
with
not
this kind of
Toronto.
water, yes.
Toronto?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, the Canadian
The
water.
Canadian water
for
was
sure.
the best one.
I think
That
it
was
was
good.
I think it was too.
That's
that
true.
was
That's true.
yeah. So, anyways, Blue Jays are out on their own. They're homeless, so they're gonna have to find another city to play their games in. So we'll just
Does this mean they're going to move just permanently, or just they're just going to play their games?
just for the 60 games this year.
Brian, you seem like a baseball
60
player.
games.
You seem like a baseball player, Brian.
I did it. I did when I was a kid.
What's your sport of choice?
Yeah.
If you were to pick a sport.
That's hard. That's really hard.
Yeah, I know.
To actually play or to watch.
Yes.
both.
Man, I wouldn't watch these two sports that I would pick, but I'd play them.
Okay.
Golf and mountain biking.
Ooh.
So I don't know. They're a sport in some people's
Like
eyes.
mountain biking.
I
don't
do
you?
Tim is our
enjoy
resident
I actually went
biking.
mountain biking earlier this morning.
Ooh.
Wow.
Where'd you go?
Just some trails.
Oh.
By the casa.
That's
Okay.
nice. Okay. Cool.
Do you know
Cool.
if MLB is doing cardboard cutouts?
They are. That
Cardboard
is.
cutouts?
Yeah. So
What's that? Why is
for
it?
$100, you can get your face printed on a cardboard like printout, and they're going to put you in the stands for all the home
For
games.
So I could have the
$100?
body.
$100.
I could have the body of Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Or Zac Efron.
Yeah.
I'm in. Yeah.
I'm in.
He's got a dad bod.
So
Oh my.
Wow, you really.
Oh wow.
all right.
Straight to the back of my throat.
that
You okay?
that sounded.
Is
real.
that your wig?
That was-
really gross.
that sounded
This
real.
is the height
It was my
of.
wig.
You just don't look fancy right now. You look the opposite of.
Okay, let's.
It is.
Oh.
It is getting in the mouth. Okay. So yeah, you can for $100 you can get your face on a cardboard cutout for 60 games in whatever stadium you want. So
So they'll just move the cardboard boxes or cardboards wherever you get this.
Cardboard.
I guess, or they'll just leave them there. I don't know. So, anyways, sounds
Yeah,
fun.
That's good MLB news.
Yeah, MLB news right there. So we'll see how the season goes. NBA, do you know what that is?
National Basketball Association.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
I did
proud,
research.
so proud. So they've been in the bubble in Orlando. So they've kind of
What's
created.
the bubble? I don't know what that
It's
is.
basically they just have rented like 3 different resorts in Disney, and all the basketball teams are staying in those resorts.
That's
They
cool.
can't stay. They can't get out of it. No one can come in it. So it's basically just a bubble that they've created. They've been there for 2 to 3 weeks, and they just tested every player a few days ago. 346 of them.
Wow.
Every single one of them negative.
Wow.
So the bubble is working.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm
So
positive
games are
the
gonna
bubble
be-
is the way to go.
I'm wondering
Positive.
what their faith test would be if they were to be tested.
Hey, man.
Would
I'm
they
glad
test
you said that.
positive for God?
Probably not all of them.
For God.
Probably not all of them, but
Your faith test for God?
Yeah, would
Yeah.
you test positive? for God?
positive.
It's a good
Okay.
question. That's a question for everybody.
Let's keep that
That's
to
all
hot
we.
topic.
That's all. We,
Are you
yeah.
100% sure
Do you have God?
that you would test
Yeah,
positive?
do you have God?
Yeah. So
Awesome.
that's all we got. Yeah.
It's like completely different people.
It's a good word,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
segues us perfectly actually into today's hot topic. COVID's still a thing, and
Still happening.
it's still happening. Unfortunately, we want it to go away, but it may be here for a little bit. It just may be the case. So, we actually, with our friend Pastor Brian McClary, out of Crossbridge,
Yep.
Crossbridge
Crossbridge,
Church
yep.
in Stone Oak,
Yeah.
San Antonio
Mhm.
area. Cool.
Yep. 281.
We want to just ask you a couple questions, and maybe we can all kind of dive into this a little bit. But it's the topic of mental health, right? We kind of talked last week with our friend Rachel Russo on family dynamics during quarantine, and someone who is a leader in ministry, a leader kind of in the community of San Antonio. People know you; they look up to you in that regard. How do you think people are kind of coping with second round of quarantine and mental health and these kind of issues that maybe aren't talked about a whole lot?
Yeah. I'll try to I guess make this short, but it goes back to when the quarantine first started in March for me. It was like the first week of it, man, I was just bummed. I was like, oh, I'm such a people person. I hate being locked in. And about a week of it goes by, and my wife is like, hey, you're not okay. Something's not right. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, are you talking to God? And I was like, no, I haven't been praying. Like a week straight, haven't been praying. And she's like, why? And I'm like, I don't really know. I just feel like I'm trying to navigate all this new information.
Yeah.
Like all these changes are happening. And so we sat down, and she kind of like guided me through a prayer time, and very necessary for my heart. And so it was kind of like letting the Lord actually sitting and letting him speak to me was just a big thing. And he said, he actually told me, he said, I've called you to be a general, and you need to call the troops to the front lines. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? And I know that in worship, we know that they walked around the walls of Jericho, and the worshipers went out in front, and that brought such confusion to the enemy. And so in worship, we have an opportunity to not just declare God's goodness, but what that does is it changes our perspective completely and gets our eyes, because worship isn't meant for us.
Right.
Worship is meant to draw our attention to the one who's worthy. And so I started going like live on Instagram and Facebook a couple times a week, and that really for me was like therapy for my soul.
Wow.
I mean, and then hearing testimonies, there was this one girl who actually said, hey, how can I come to know this Jesus that you're singing about? And I'm like, what? So we started back and forth talking with her, and she eventually accepted Christ. And just the reality of like, man, just simple obedience in our weakness to say, just to say
Wow.
yes to what the Lord's calling us to do. That really helped me. And then also just some practicals, working out, exercising is great. To, it was endorphins. Is that what it's called?
Mhm.
Yep.
Endorphins.
Yes.
Endorphins.
Endorphins.
Yeah.
Yeah. That really helps. But I think, overall it really has been for me the past few months, the Word of God has come alive to me in a way like it never has
Yeah.
before. And I'll actually sit there and slowly read the promises that we have in the Word. And 3 things that I've been praying almost every day is one, wash me in truth, and renew my mind. And third is just revive my heart. And I'll just say that over and over and over again to the Lord. And that's really been helpful for me because if I look at all the things going on, there's so much uncertainty. I can really get anxious and wrapped up in that. But we have an opportunity because we are the body of Christ. Like we actually have hope when it doesn't seem to be any hope around. Yeah.
I love how you started that actually, because you talked a little bit about where you were at, kind of in that first week. And I think if we're honest, and I think if a lot of this is obviously tailored to students and their families, I think if a lot of students and their parents or siblings or whoever were honest, a lot of us are probably in that similar spot that you were at that first week or whatever, where we're kind of beat down a little bit. We're beat up, we're bruised, and I don't think people would say we're healthy, right?
Right.
And I think a lot of people would liken success to that place of being healthy. But I love that you brought up the fact that you were actually able to lead someone to Christ coming out of that season. So in this kind of new time, what does that look like for Christians, leaders, to define success as? Because it's obviously not the same thing.
Yeah.
And if we go based off of our feelings, we know feelings are oftentimes liars,
Right.
What does that look like for you?
Well, I mean, not to downplay the fact that it's not like that we should just ignore what we're going through.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's important to sit in that pain and actually come to terms with it and then take it to Jesus.
Wow.
But success for me right now just looks like daily obedience. I mean, so when I was young, and I would imagine some students, 18, 19, even younger than that, I was thinking, man, I don't, concerning like the will of God, quote unquote will of God, right? And I was so, almost paralyzed by fear of screwing it up. I really thought I was, how they teach you in like Boy Scouts when you're following a compass, if you're like 1 degree off, then you're going to end up like miles away from your destination, right? And so for me, I was so wrapped up in like, oh man, I don't want to make a mistake. But the reality is wherever we go, the Lord, when we become one with God, that Jesus prayed that they would be one as we are one, and there's an invitation there for us to partner with the heart of God that can actually begin to transform our heart, right? So once we do that, His will becomes our will, and I feel like God is saying that there's nowhere we can go outside of His control once we're just daily obedient, and I feel like being in the will of God is daily obedience. And I don't think it's possible to make some big egregious mistake when we're actually just saying, God, I want to be obedient today.
What does that look like as daily obedience? And this is for everybody as well. Y'all are all pastors. What does daily obedience look like? 'Cause I think you're hitting on a great topic. But I often think a middle school student that might hear this might think, I have no clue what that means because my parents tell me to do chores. So what does daily obedience look like to the Father, right?
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
I think just being sensitive to the Spirit first, allowing your heart to be open to Him. You can't be obedient if you're not willing to even hear,
Right.
if you're not willing to listen.
Right.
So, I mean, for instance, you can't be obedient to your parents telling you to clean your room if you're not even willing to hear what they want you
That's a
to
great
say.
point.
So, waking up every single morning and saying, Spirit, my heart is open, my ears are open, or even just saying, hey, whatever I need to do to, allow my ears to hear you today, give me that ability to hear you, so that I can have the courage to be obedient to you.
And I do notice this, like whenever I start my morning, I don't know what it is about mornings, but whenever I start my day, spending time in prayer, reading some scripture, reading a devotional, my outlook on the day is different. The perspective shifts, and it's no longer, the Bible tells us, right, like whatever you do it as unto the Lord. So it no longer becomes about the chores that have to get done, taking care of the baby, my wife. It becomes my boss. It becomes about what is the Lord leading me, and these people that I have around me, right, that are saying, hey, let's do this, or hey, this is the project we got to tackle today. It becomes about the Father in that,
That's a great point.
For
sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You can tell when we're not. I love that you say starting the day, because I think a lot of us can tell when we don't start the day. In that it's a very practical way to do it.
Yeah.
And there's definitely, I mean, kind of Madison and I won't speak for her, but for me, it's been that for me this season with fostering. Like, it's if I don't start the day the right way, I'm just trying to survive the day instead of actually thriving in it. Right, as cliche as that sounds. But Brian, I know you're a pretty humble guy. Offline, right? Not on Xbox. Pretty humble guy. And you're actually you're pretty well known worship leader, right? So
Sweet.
I'm going to read some of your stats here. Don't judge.
Oh gosh.
But on Spotify, right? Because that's where students listen to music. On Spotify, you have a
Apple
couple.
Music.
People don't listen to Apple Music. You've got a couple songs over 1 million streams.
Yeah, it's pretty
that
cool.
you've written and recorded, right?
Yeah.
On your own for your own.
The question is,
for
did
your name or
you
whatever.
have to sell your soul to Illuminati to get those streams? And what do
That
I
is
have to
actually
do?
why we brought you here.
Wow. Okay. No.
Everything just shifts.
Fortunately.
The lights go off.
So
Fortunately, no.
So this is obviously something that the Lord's blessed you in, right? And He's blessed
Yeah, I'm
this
very
ministry
grateful,
that you're doing and you're pursuing. And I think it ties into that daily obedience. But seeing stuff like this, being nominated for a Dove Award, which is a huge deal in the Christian culture and worship leading. I've totally forgot where I was going with that question. No, I know, I got it now.
How are you so good?
No, not that, but in terms of stuff like that, and seasons we're in right now, how do you manage kind of surviving in a quarantine and just doing the normal and routine compared to actually pursuing some of the stuff that the Lord's blessed you in and seeing ministry prosper in, and kind of the difference between the two?
Yeah.
For me, it's very easy to just cope and to just do normal stuff instead of actually seeing opportunities where the Lord might want something new in this season. And it's not easy for y'all, but as worship leaders, writing songs can directly correlate to people exactly where they are. What does that look like for you as a worship leader and as a singer-songwriter as well?
Yeah, right now, and it kind of goes back to what the Lord spoke to me after the first week of initial quarantine back in March. I feel like there's actually an opportunity for us because there's so much downtime, because there's so much free time. I've completely dived into to learning how to use Logic and studio stuff. So I'm demoing songs. I'm doing Zoom FaceTime co-writes with other people across the country, and really in a season of just asking the Lord what He's saying right now to me personally, and trying to put that to songs.
That's awesome.
And I'm even learning how to play piano for the first time. I've been playing guitar for 2 decades, but this is nice. I didn't know that. That's cool.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Brian, I don't know if you've experienced this, but a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, actually, I had a conversation with Ezra about just the frustrations I was feeling and how hard it was to get into the studio and write songs, because I just wasn't feeling it. I was feeling angry, frustrated, even hurt. It's weird to say, just all the emotion that you kind of feel in a day. And so we had a conversation about it and decided to start writing from that place of just honesty, not to complain, but to take those things to the Father and say, hey, this is how I'm feeling, but despite all of that, you're good. Because if we look at the Psalms, we see that. We see David being,
he was
frustrated,
authentic,
angry, scared, and saying, but I know you're good and I trust you. God, please kill my enemies, but God, please kill this virus. Help this go away. But I know regardless of what happens, you're still good. I don't know if you've experienced that as you've been writing songs in this time.
I think that there's a gift that we have as songwriters to give a voice to a generation that is so confused, so frustrated, stuck in this really crappy holding pattern, for so long. And our enemies that we're surrounded by right now are anxiety, our fear, our comparison, our just worry if, are things going to go back to quote unquote normal, so we have an opportunity to actually speak hope and speak life into those into those places, and so
that's great.
What a responsibility, right?
That is a heavy responsibility for sure. Your last question here for Hot Topic, for all of you guys. What would you say to a student or a person in the family or whoever's listening to this podcast? What would you say to them who may feel in a similar spot that, Brian, you were in that first week where you kind of said you needed to take it to the Lord, who may, with school and sports and so many confusing things coming up, may not have a lot to look forward to. What would you say to encourage them?
Yeah, I mean, I like how Brian started just saying that his wife came alongside him and really almost took the reins and said, hey, this is what we're going to do. And we're going to get you back into a place in your mind and your heart where you're healthy. Obviously, for students, you don't have
get married.
You don't get married.
Get married quick.
And then have your spouse do that for you. No, just finding that person, whether it's a friend or one of your parents or a pastor or a small group leader that you can be honest with and just say, hey, this is where I'm struggling. And you can be vulnerable in that moment and just kind of just let it all out in a sense. And I think that's where healing can start to take place, and trusting someone into your life to really help you get there. So isolation is not the answer.
Right.
If you're lonely and depressed already, don't isolate yourself even more, right?
Yeah.
Find people that you can be honest and transparent with, and let's get healing.
That won't keep you there either.
Well
that
said.
won't keep you there in the
for
same
sure.
spot.
You took all the good answers, man.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
literally took
No,
all
really,
the
we're
One-
done.
just one tagline.
That was going to be what I was going to say. Just be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it took a lot for me to say to my wife, and I'm the leader of my house, for me to say, I haven't been praying. And just admitting where you're at is like the first step.
Yeah.
And just saying you need help. I mean, it's real.
That's great.
And on a practical side of it, Brian touched on this earlier, and I thought it was great. Learn something in this time, like you know what I mean. Like
totally.
I've watched tons of YouTube videos on mixing and engineering. It's not something that I do for my job every day, but it's something that I want to grow in.
Yeah.
And so, there's songwriting retreats that are happening online. There's people that, if you like to paint, if you like to draw, if you like to write, like whatever it is you like to do, like find a community that you can be honest with as well. Last night I was on a Zoom call with some friends also, and just talking helped so much to externally process with friends, and just there are other pastors that are doing ministry and feel some of the frustrations too, and are having to deal with change as well. So being there for bearing each other's burdens, I think, is such a huge thing during this time.
That's good. Yeah, get off the couch and be productive, right?
Exactly,
do something you've never done.
Yeah.
Learn something you've never known how to do.
Don't look at me like that when you say that.
I'm talking to
Why are
you
attacking-
right now.
Why are you attacking us
Right
right,
Get
now?
off your couch.
It really is an opportunity to
Learn the guitar, Isai.
Yeah.
The guitar.
the guitar.
The guitar.
You said the guitar.
The country in the Middle East.
Guitar.
The nation in the Middle East. Guitar.
Guitar.
Learn about Qatar.
Yeah, and I've been learning watercolor. So
Have you really?
no,
Oh, I know you like Bob Ross. So I
I
was like,
love Bob Ross.
He's the man.
big time.
Bob
for
Ross is a
sure.
vibe.
That's
Yeah.
a big vibe.
Hey,
Anyone
guys.
have-
very clean fro.
Anyone want to add anything else into that hot topic before we move on to our final segment?
Actually, Brian, do you want to plug anything?
Yeah, let's do that.
I mean, I guess. I released a live worship album.
He wears a crown.
He wears a
baby.
crown.
Right.
Yeah.
who's he?
Jesus.
Okay,
I didn't say
Def-
that. He did. No.
Oh, okay.
faked you out there.
So
Ventriloquist.
The good old switcheroo.
yeah, we recorded it live at our church. It's been released through Capitol. It's out right now. And
awesome.
we're working on another recording that we're raising money for. So, and I'll be
That's
posting
awesome.
about that soon. Yeah.
That's
awesome,
great.
man.
Brian McCleary,
Do you have a name for
Spotify,
that?
Apple Music.
Do you have a name for that project
Crossbridge
yet?
Worship.
I don't have a name.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
but
great.
The
Brian,
Well.
Brian McCleary. Yeah.
Maybe it's the well.
Maybe it is.
Maybe.
The well set.
So,
Okay, let's
it's
move on
literally
to
been heard by dozens of people. So
dozens, tens of dozens. Let's move on to our most popular segment. It's YouTube's biggest hit right now. It's Dab and Fab.
Dab and Fab.
Dabulous or fabulous?
Dab and Fab. And so, Brian, for the uninitiated, here's what Dab and Fab
Which
is.
we would consider you the uninitiated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone else here is initiated. That's even a
I'm okay with that.
question.
Like, secret question.
Dab and Fab. A dab, if you dab on something, it's a bad thing. So we're going to take a look at this past week and see what is something we want to dab on that's bad. And to help you maybe remember that, dab backwards is bad. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And then
like
what's a
that.
fab this week? What was something that was a huge fab for you? Last
Fab
week it was
backwards
Zac
is
Efron for me. It could be some. We don't know. We don't know what it's going to. I do know, but you don't. So we're going to do dab and fab this week, and we're going to start with Isai. Switch things up.
Oh man,
Yeah,
come on!
come on,
You know I don't
let's
do
go.
anything.
Yeah.
All right, I
There
am
it
going.
is.
I am going to dab on my car. My car has been giving me a little bit of
What
issues.
car do you have, Isai?
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you what I have.
Is
Just
it
know that
German?
it's German engineering.
Does it start with an A?
And you know what? I'm going to dab on Germany. How about that?
Here we go.
No. I'm not going to. I'm not going
This
to.
isn't even 1940s anymore.
No, yeah. I'm having issues with my car, and like I found out how much it's going to cost to repair it, and I'm not.
It's
happy
not a
about
Ford
that.
though.
It's not a Ford. If it was American made, I wouldn't be having these issues.
like-
Yeah.
What?
That's correct.
It's an Audi Q3.
Or Japanese.
Okay.
I
You should have got.
I should've gotten a Japanese
Corolla.
I had
Toyota.
an Audi A4 and I gave
you
it away.
really?
You gave it away.
It was such a money pit.
It's-
Is that a worship leader thing? Like,
I think
out-
so. I mean,
no,
Audi-
someone. Okay, so full disclosure, someone gave it to me, and then I regifted it
Nice.
because it
That's
was
a good
gonna
regift.
take way too much money to.
That's a
to
good
fix.
re-gift.
That's where I'm at right now with
there.
this car. It's been good up until this point, and now it's.
I'll take
You
it.
can gift
You
it
can
to
have
me.
it.
I will gladly.
I need you to. Here's the thing. I'll give it to you, but I need you to make a donation to my ministry for the amount, and I'll tell you. I'll tell you the
donate
amount
to
off.
1910 Church.
I'll tell you the amount off afterwards.
It's tax deductible.
Yeah.
All right, so that's your dab.
What's your
Let's not
fab?
get into that.
What's your fab?
My fab is going to be my beautiful daughter. I'm just like so.
Little switcheroo this week.
I'm
Huh?
just so.
'Cause a couple
I didn't
weeks
say
ago
she
you-
was the
A
worst.
couple weeks ago, you said this
I
was
said
the
this is
worst
the worst
year of
year
your
of my life.
and it was
Yeah.
the year she was born.
No, she was born in 2019 of November.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
She's the best thing, man. I woke up to her. She just woke me up and slapped my face and just giggling
That's
and
awesome.
being adorable. And it's just, man, it's the best. I'm so in love. It's the best. When she slaps me, it's cute. When you slap me, I hate it.
I was about to say, when I do that to you, you hate it, man.
I knew you were gonna make that joke, so I made it before you. So yeah, that's my dab and my fab.
All right, Chase, what's your dab and fab?
Oh man, I'm dabbing on this week because this would be the house camp week
Aw,
happening.
boo.
So it just feels a little bit more official that we're not having it. So hopefully you guys know that we are not having the house camp this week. So
It'd be real awkward if you showed up.
it'd be really awkward if you showed up
Please
this
don't show up.
Thursday. So that's my dab because I definitely was looking forward to that, worshiping with you guys. So anyways, we'll get back to that at some point soon. My fab, back to sports, man. I've been waiting since March for sports to start back up. So
I've heard
I'm
you're like the
super
most
excited
athletic
about it.
on staff.
I've not heard that.
100%.
I've not heard that.
I believe
Not
that.
true.
That's not true.
Oh, you're
not
not
true. No,
yeah.
Oh,
I would
okay.
say second.
Who's
Two.
first?
There's one that is above
He's-
me.
There's
Sit
another.
next to him. He wears a crown.
It's not. It's definitely not you. I would say Pastor Danny
He
is
wears a sports
pretty
crown, dude.
athletic. Hey, Pastor Danny is definitely the most athletic. He just
Okay.
ran 600 miles over the last
Wow.
two
Oh, I
2
thought
months.
it's like
today.
today.
this morning. Yes.
Where'd he go?
So,
He went to Midland to go check out the Chick-fil-A.
I wonder who would do something like that. It's okay. He won't
so
even
that's
listen.
that's my dab and fab.
Dab and fab is
Yep.
sports.
Yep.
Okay.
Wow. Where's God on that fab?
I don't know what my dab
Well,
and fab is.
God is in the dab.
He's in the good and the
I'm
bad.
not dabbing on
Right, no,
God.
he's in
I'm
the-
dabbing
I
on.
got it.
That's a good message.
house
God is in
camp.
the
I'll
God
go
is in the
and you
dab
can
and in the
wrap
fab.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll take it from there. So I'll go next, Brian here. My dab is gonna be processed foods,
Okay.
and
Like
then
spam.
just any
Wow.
processed foods. I've been
Yeah.
on a health kick, and I feel a lot better, man.
What have you been doing, man?
Just eating healthier.
But like, what does that mean?
Eating,
Like, do you eat broccoli
Health.
now and stuff? Or what?
just all of it, dude.
But like,
So
okay,
much.
I mean, steak is technically healthy, right?
It's great.
Yeah, sure.
So you were eating
What are
steak
you
already.
asking?
What's your favorite steak?
How do you do what you're doing?
Well, ice cream, take that out. Takis, big thing I took out.
Okay.
Big thing. Eating at 2 a.m. took out.
Why are you up at 2 a.m?
Praying.
Praying,
Praying. Okay. Yeah.
praying,
All right.
praying in
Praying-
general.
praying
on-
in
Yeah, yeah,
I get it.
general. Yeah,
Instead of praying late at night, pray earlier.
Well, I guess if you pray late at night, it eventually
Yeah,
returns in
It's
the morning.
early
It's
morning.
a very early morning prayer
yeah,
time.
before dawn.
Oh,
before
that's
the break of dawn.
Yeah, that's genius.
When night is
Yeah.
darkest,
Dawn is
pray the
greatest.
most.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I've always said. And then my fab this week is going to be salmon. I had salmon for the first time in years.
Wow.
this past week.
Wow. I
How
had
did you-
I had
salmon
fish
like
this week,
multiple
too.
times a week.
Salmon's
Yeah.
amazing. When
I got Norwegian fresh caught salmon from Central Market. Threw it on a skillet, skin side down, with some garlic oil.
Yeah.
Threw in some thyme, rosemary, and butter. Basted that bad boy. Let it sit for like 10 minutes, and then just ate it in a Tupperware. So
in
good.
a Tupperware.
So you do all that and then you go to a Tupperware.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Wow.
Okay.
yeah. Fab this week, salmon. Brian, what's your dab and fab?
My dab is my Spectrum Wi-Fi router.
Hey, I already dabbed on
Oh.
that.
Did you?
Yeah, well, like
Well,
2 weeks
oh,
ago.
dude.
And then you
Here comes China.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like I'm getting about 400 Mbps and
Megabytes per second.
Yeah,
What does that mean?
like
Megabytes per second.
megabits per. I guess.
Is it
I don't know.
megabits?
I don't know,
Megabits.
I'm not sure.
Megabits.
And then my
Megabits.
router is just like
Megabits.
trash. So that's
We
been
can
really
tell.
helpful,
we can tell.
You're always lagging.
especially at 2 a.m.
When we're
praying
praying. Yeah.
online.
Yeah, the Zoom
and-
call keeps
Gosh, oh,
glitchy.
so
I can't. What are you praying for?
All right, that's your dab. Spectrum.
my fab would be I think we're having like a virtual / in person Ablaze. Ablaze is my student program at our church. Andy Minio is coming, so that's kind of cool. Andy Minio is going to be there. Lecrae did like a shout out, so
Andy.
Is
kinda
Lecrae going to be
cool.
there?
No, he did a shout out
that's
on
cool.
social media about it, and then
When is
that happening?
Going to be
That's
doing,
crazy.
It's very crazy. The first week of August.
Okay.
The first through the
Sweet.
third. So we're doing it's like online, but also with a limited in-person
Oh,
option.
that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really
Oh.
Andy Mineo is going to be doing like some preaching and some music and stuff. So.
Andy Minio's preaching.
Yeah,
Sweet.
it's gonna be cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that's awesome.
Mm.
Oh, sweet. And that's all we got for Dab and Fab.
Excited
That's
about
all
that.
we got for the podcast. We want to thank our special guest this week, Brian McClary. He is a part
didn't
of
say it like
Crossbridge
that.
Worship pastor. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, man.
You
Good to
can
be here.
find him on Spotify, Instagram,
Yep.
at Brian McClary, wherever you get your music
And
downloaded from.
don't forget to check out our sponsor, H2O, in
Make sure
a
you drink water.
Check it
In
out
a-
every day. Actually,
in a
Every
faucet
day.
you
near
need to check
you.
it out every
in a
day.
faucet,
In a faucet near you.
Hey, joke's on you guys. All of these waters,
Same
were
exact
from
water.
The hose.
The
of
hose.
My backyard.
I tasted that. I knew it.
Did you?
No, they
What did
tasted
you
different.
taste?
Shut up. They
Third,
tasted
What
third
did
one
you
in,
taste?
it tasted
Well,
like
how did you-
hose water.
What
We
is it?
won't get COVID now.
The
Yeah, it
we're
saved
good.
your life.
There's no way. That's not true because
I sparkled it, dude. I sparkled it. And that's all we got for you this week's Hill's Talk Conversations. Where's
Have a
Beer?
great
Thank you
week.
so
have a
much.
great week.